What's up, people? I am back for another video. Today, I am reviewing the, in my opinion, very interesting take on werewolf, on like the werewolf movie, called Ginger Snaps. I saw this movie when I think it was about the same time I saw Dog Soldiers, or a little bit after, because they would always play, like, a lot of times they would play this on like Sci-Fi Channel all the time. And like, it's been a while since I watched it. I remember it being like about this goth girl who becomes a werewolf. But essentially, the premise is, it's about two sisters, Bridget and Ginger. Who Ginger is going through. They have like a fascination with death. They're like the goth girls. Ginger is going through puberty, or no, her first period specifically. And while this happens one night, there's a string of like dog killings that's been going around, and I'll admit the opening is pretty crazy. Like, this lady finds the body of her dog. It's pretty fucked up. And then, like, they don't hold back on the gore. Like, granted, it's not like an overly gory movie, because it's like not a traditional werewolf movie, because I'm gonna get to that in a second. And we see the werewolf attack her, and I mean, the design for the werewolf is interesting. I'm not gonna complain and be like, oh, it doesn't look great. I look at it like, this is a lower budget movie, so it's fine. And I thought the werewolf design looked fine enough, and it's not supposed to just be like a regular old werewolf movie. That's kind of how I look at it. Like, this is like, because this movie is almost like about a girl, going through, not puberty, but like, period and body changes. And they did it, but like, they're like, what if we did that, but with like a werewolf? And like, she slowly, like, it's not like your traditional werewolf movie, like every night. It's not like The Howling or American Werewolf in London, where every night the person who becomes the werewolf transforms and starts eating people. It's not that kind of werewolf movie. Like, she, starts having a boyfriend. She becomes like a bit more outgoing and starts hanging out with like the popular kids. And they even like, and I thought the dynamic between Bridget and Ginger felt like actual sisters. It didn't feel like, oh, they're just movie sisters. Like, they actually felt like, yeah, you could actually believe these sisters. And she starts going through body changes. Like, she starts growing hair. She starts getting like, Ginger starts getting overly aggressive. So Bridget, to kind of like help, starts talking to, trying to find the guy's name, Sam, who you think is like her love interest, but isn't. But he actually like kind of knows about werewolves and stuff. And she starts asking him for help, but eventually, yeah, Ginger succumbs, like, and like the final act, she becomes like a werewolf. That's where we get our first transformation. And I'll admit, the transformation scene was pretty good. Like, I like that they do it. It's like an interesting kind of unique take on a werewolf movie, because it's not like your normal werewolf movie where Ginger every night is transforming and starts killing people and she has to try to control it. Like, no. It's like this kind of, what if we made it like, and it's crazy because I normally don't care about like high school, I'll admit high school shit in general, girl or boy. But they actually were able to make it kind of captivating, like what these girls going through high school. Yeah, they get picked on. And the guy Ginger gets with, she actually makes him essentially a werewolf, and that's kind of cool. And then, yeah, it's crazy. All around great movie. Very interesting movie. I thought they did a really good job, Bridget and Ginger. I think they're like the best part of the movie. Their chemistry was great. The ending was kind of beautiful, where Bridget had to, I think, basically put her down. Yeah, like, she has to essentially, yeah, it's a crazy movie. So I definitely recommend it. It's on YouTube. And it's not like a weird warped version like how YouTube movies usually are, where they have to like flip the screen or something. No, it's a legit version of the movie. It's like 1082. Very good movie. So, interesting perspective for a werewolf movie. I was kind of surprised I actually still like it, because just because of the way it's modeled, but definitely it still holds up. I know there are sequels, but I've never seen them, so I will be reviewing those. But yeah, that's if I were to give this movie a 10, like out of 10, I would probably give it a like maybe an 8. Interesting take on a werewolf movie. Yeah, it's not. I'll admit it's not my go-to werewolf movie. I would probably still say that's either American Werewolf in London or like Dog Soldiers. But I do think it's an interesting take, and it's a good movie. So, but yeah, but we'll get started here. The movie opens up. We see this lady find her dog, eaten, and it's a pretty, it's pretty like fucked up opening, but it also does set the tone. We meet Bridget and Ginger, and they do like this. It's like a short film where they show themselves because they have like a fascination with like gore and death. So like they do this. It's like a short film like for film class where they show like fucked up like dead poses. So it's like a crazy like little opening. So they make a pact. And Ginger's like the more outgoing of the two, and Bridget's like kind of keeps to herself. And you have like the school bully Tina, who Trina, not Tina, and they want to kidnap her dog. But because of this, because Ginger gets her first period, which because the smell of blood attracts the werewolf, and this is actually where we see it's, and I like the lighting. Like you do see it, but you don't fully see it, and it attacks her. The girls try to run. The wolf chases them, but then it ends up getting hit by a van, owned by Sam, who I actually like that it didn't go the love interest route with him and Bridget because I think he's like actually older, but it was like they had a good. He was like the other character you kind of follow. Bridget starts like getting concerned because the transformations are like, it's like Sam's starting to grow hair, not Sam, Ginger's starting to grow hair. She's actually starting to be way more outgoing than normal. Like, so she ends up getting a boyfriend, and she ends up hooking up with Jason. He's like the bully of the movie, and he just wants to get in. He's like your typical horror guy of that era. He just wants to get into girls' pants. Which, that's just the thing. Even in like the 80s, you had that. And yeah, he ends up hooking up with Ginger throughout the film, and then one night, I'm just gonna kind of jump ahead, and while this happens, Bridget tells like Sam about like what's been going on, and Sam like actually starts to help her, and she ends up going back to Ginger. She has sex with Jason, but she actually goes like a lot more, and she starts getting like a lot more aggressive, and basically has sex with Jason, but she ends up making him a werewolf inadvertently because she starts like biting him, because she ends up coming back home, which is a pretty good scene. She comes back because I like how slow they're doing it, like how she's becoming a wolf. Like she even grows a tail, but she doesn't like act full on transform every day. It's an interesting, like, I'm gonna keep saying interesting or unique because it kind of is. It's not like a normal werewolf movie, and there's not like a werewolf hunter either. It's just this girl going through like body changes, but they're like, you know what, let's this girl's going through her first period, but let's add this added of now she's gonna go through changes of becoming a werewolf. And it does make for an interesting movie. Yeah, it's not a traditional werewolf movie where you do watch a lot of people just get killed left and right, but that's fine. So Ginger, after turning Jason, comes home and you just see her like puking and it's just covered in blood. And then the next day, I don't know what game they're exactly playing, but Trina bullies Bridget, and Ginger snaps and just beats the shit out of her. And then so Ginger starts realizing that she was attacked by a werewolf. So they go to Sam, who tells her about a plan of monk shoot, this plant that basically should reverse the disease. Because there's a scene where Jason starts growing teeth and getting more aggressive, attacks Bridget, but she inserts the syringe and he starts going back to normal. Then that night, Trina accuses Bridget of stealing her dog, and Bridget basically is trying to shoo her away and say, "Go away, this is not good." And then Ginger attacks her and basically kidnaps her, essentially. And Trina threatens to call the police, but then she slips because there's a thing of milk that got spilled earlier during that fight, and she slips and falls on her, hits her head on the counter, dying. And then they have to hide the body. And then Halloween night, there's a party. So this is a Halloween film too. So that night, Sam comes to her with the monk's hood or monk shoot. I could be saying this wrong. The other character you kind of see is their mother, who and I think at this point Bridget kind of tells her what actually happened with Trina, and her mother said her mother was willing to basically blow up the house to cover it up, type of deal. Then Ginger now has an all new look now. Tries to hook up with Sam, but Sam tries to pushes her off of him. But then Ginger snaps his arm. Bridget shows up and basically cuts her hand and infects herself with Ginger's werewolf lycanthropy, if I'm saying that right. It's not boring. The way they are able to make a story essentially about this girl's period, or at least it's in the background, and these teenage girls, and are able to make it interesting for even a man like me, and take a werewolf movie and not make it a traditional one, and still not make it boring either. Because but I definitely do recommend it. It's not a traditional one, but I like the music. I like the way it's shot. Even it's kind of interesting. But so Sam manages to convince not Sam. Bridget manages to convince Ginger to go with her, but Sam, not knowing what's going on, hits her with the shovel, which I'll admit was pretty funny. And they're trying to take her back to the house. But this is where we get the full-on transformation scene, which looked really good. For the lower budget it was, I actually do really like those moments when a person does full-on transform. So she fully transforms, because they have the cure for her back at the house, and they manage to make it back at the house. Sam notices something up at the back. He checks on it, and that's when fully transformed Ginger gets out. Sam and Bridget try to hide in the pantry, and Sam manages to get the cure together. Ginger attacks him, which I thought this scene was done really well. Like, because you got Bridget, like, hiding in this pantry, and then Sam's outside, and then boom! Fucking Ginger attacks him, and then it just goes quiet. Because he goes outside. Ends up, but it turns out for a little bit Sam's still alive, and then Bridget ends up killing, not Bridget, Ginger kills Sam, and we get like a chase scene between Ginger and Bridget. I thought it was a pretty good final chase just between those two. They find the room where they grew up, and she finds the syringe and then the silver knife in their hand. And I even like the interesting take of that the transformation wasn't happening like on a full moon. Like they even say it in the movie. Like I actually like they, you know, and even like the whole silver thing. And Ginger attacks Bridget, and then Bridget ends up stabbing her with the knife. And then, you know, Bridget kind of like comforts her and kind of cries, and then the movie ends. Really kind of, you know, pretty good ending. Really good movie, you know. It's not not a traditional werewolf movie, but they make it work. I think Emily Perkins and Catherine Isabel did a really good job as the leads. I thought Sam was a decent character. The gore is pretty good. It's not a kill-heavy movie. Like, you only get like a couple. You got Trina. I guess you got the animals. But like in terms of human kills, there's really only, Sam. There's a scene where the janitor gets killed. I should have mentioned that scene, but yeah, where the janitor gets killed by Ginger. But yeah, but the skills you got work, and I really like the dynamic between Bridget and Ginger is what makes the movie for me overall. Sorry about that. God damn it. But I feel like they really feel like they could be sisters. They really pull that off really well. And you really feel for Bridget when she ends up having to kill her in the end. And I thought the chase in the end was pretty good. So all around, really good movie. Definitely recommend it. I've never seen the sequels. If I have, I don't remember them. But they're on. I'm gonna review those too. So probably next Friday I'll review them. So. But besides that, this is a really good movie. Give this one like an 8.5. The transformation scenes is really good. I think the werewolf design is fine, especially considering it's a lower budget movie, but they make it work. So yeah, it's understandable. They were able to find a good story reason why you don't see her as a werewolf the whole movie. So, but yeah. But besides that, on Sunday, I will be reviewing a movie called Snow Beast that I had mentioned this weeks ago, but it's a creature feature that came out in the late 70s. It's literally a Jaws ripoff, because I'll wait for Sunday to go more into it, but it's literally a Jaws ripoff, like even down to the pacing. And I'll explain that more, and you'll definitely understand by then. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna get ready to peace out here. As usual. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Kamala Harris. Snow Beast video Sunday. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.